A lot of the times, the given talking points are birds aren't real, birds aren't real, birds aren't real. Like, like that's something that is far fetched by today's standards. They're making like fake mosquitoes and shit like that. They have the technology to make little tiny fake things. Do you really think they don't have the technology and never will to make fake birds? You have to wonder. I mean, I think I've brought this up before, like once or twice. It's not something I've talked about very often. But I assume that's what the obsession is. Birds aren't real. The talking point that's said to me all the time. But you have to wonder, why do they do that? Why do they focus on one that's so like so not far-fetched? And to think that, like, if we're talking about it from an advanced version of us who keeps us in a structure that we don't know we're in, if they're capable of building the structure, I would imagine making fake birds, or at least engineering birds in a way that works for them, wouldn't be too far-fetched. Hello, hello. What's up there, Karen? It's been an interesting day. I had to reset because the comment section got shut off again. From my perspective, of course. I mean, seriously, like, what else do I need to provide you guys? I believe I provide you with lots and lots of evidence. I don't just sit here and talk about random shit. I generally not only provide you with evidence, but I provide you with the evidence that they want us to know. Right? Everything that I talk about, when I'm reading Wikipedia, when I'm looking into whatever, it's because I know that Israel controls those things, and I want to have the perspective that they want us Goyim to have, the one that ends up trickling down through multiple other sources. But let's just go to the head source. Looks like I'm still only going to see my own comments again. Well, nobody else has commented yet, so you got to give it a minute. But I mean, just so like I was saying, so what else can I provide you? I literally am just, nothing I provide you can be chalked up to like, oh, that's just conspiracy theory. Oh, that's just some Alex Jones bullshit or whatever. Nothing falls into that category. And as far as the shit with my comments like getting shut off, you've never seen anybody else say that before. You've watched hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of different people on YouTube. I mean, if you're watching my live, I assume you watch other people's lives. Why would my live be something special to begin with? But you've never ever seen somebody else be like, hey, what the fuck? Why are my comments being shut off? Why can't I see what people are saying to me? It's never happened. And it definitely doesn't happen repeatedly. Yesterday it happened like 4 times. When you're seeing something on anyone's page, anyone's live feed, if they're doing something, or if something happens that is unique, you never see anybody else talking about it, and it's something that's, done from the inside. It's not like I accidentally hit a button or something like that. It has to come from the inside out. Do you just seriously, like, I'm showing you, you've seen this, you've experienced this. Do you just write it off as a glitch? A glitch that only exists on my page? Keep putting it out there every day. I mean, really, that's all I can do. I'm just trying to figure out why you care so much about countries other than ours or just your personal life. Why would you sacrifice your life to help Palestine? Me personally, never. Who's sacrificing my life? And again, I've explained it time and time again why I feel the way I feel. The real question is, why do you feel the need to come in here and cry about what I think all the time? If it doesn't, if first of all, if I'm wrong, like that doesn't matter. I'm wrong. Secondly, if you don't care about people that much, why do you care about what I think so much? You literally spend hours and hours. Like when you go back and look at it, you've probably spent 3 full days on my feed so far. And you'll continue to do that because of what? Because you can't understand the idea that children being molested and killed disgusts me. Genocide is disgusting. Supremacy is disgusting. Not to mention how it does actually affect your American life. Like it does. I guess you're not smart enough to think on the levels that it does, but it does affect your life. Before last week, I'm getting to see others now. The whole of yesterday. I mean, again, it's like if I saw something on somebody else's feed that was happening, from the inside, some functionality quirk, and I'd never seen that shit before, you better believe I'm going to pay attention. You have to, it's not like the system is going to come out and be like, here's a certified letter from the president stating that, all the conspiracies are true and that you should oppose him. And like, it's stupid. I'm not even going to keep going with it. That shit's not going to happen. These trolls aren't going to come out here and acknowledge that they're actually pedos, that they're, Israeli agents and shit like that. They're not going to do that because it'll they have no argument after that, right? At least this way, when they keep making up my argument, morning, when they keep making it, I'm talking to this. They keep making up my argument so they can have something to actually argue. And then raping and stealing is your whole thing? What are you talking about? And then raping and stealing? We know what they're up to. Fuck them. They don't empirically deny it either. Ever. Ever. It's never something that comes out where they're mad at me for saying these things or whatever. And they're not mad at the system. They're all still Trump supporters. Did you not ready above that? Yeah, I didn't ready above that. I'm just trying to figure out blah, blah, blah. And then raping and stealing is the next comment that comes up. If your shit's not there, it's not my fault. Nothing you say is a threat to my way of thinking. It's weird because I know there's nothing you can do to, you could never demonize me for giving a shit about other people experiencing genocide. You could never demonize me for, despising child rape. Like, I know for a fact that nobody could ever say anything that's going to make me feel bad. Nobody's ever going to say anything that's going to make me go, oh yeah, you know what, that chosen cult, they're so much better than everyone else. Let's just give up our rights and give them whatever they want because they're born special. Literally, there's no way you could ever get me to say that. And having that confidence in your argument, in your fight, being able to fight from that perspective, knowing that you're in the right 100%, YOU''RE in the right 100%, it gives you a confidence that none of these guys clearly have. Enjoy your breath kissed.
Breath kissed.
Your breath kissed. Oh, you got to give them back. Oh, you're dying. Oh wait, you bought it. Yeah. You're hilarious.
I think you'd like James.
Then he won't like me.
He goes around. He doesn't have that.
Sure he doesn't.
He's really good about that.
Sure he's not.
His woman's taller than her.
They usually are. Like, I guarantee I know this situation a little bit better than you do.
So laid back.
Uh-huh, sure he is. Oh, even better. Yeah, it's definitely we're gonna mash like you know, slaves and picking cotton. Had to get dressed for work at 11:30. This is just, it's a fight, man. We're in a fight. Shouldn't fund any of these wars, says the dumbass who, again, it's like you don't have a comprehension of the way things work. If we could somehow take back everything that we gave to Israel and then was like, okay, now fight it out, it still wouldn't even be fair. Because we funded the destruction of these people for fucking 75 plus years. You know, their minds have been warped. The amount of PTSD and anxiety and just crippling, you know, the amount of children without parents and just without limbs and all this other shit. Like, this is so much deeper than this surface level argument you seem to make. Not sure why you care so much where I am, other than, you know, weird, goofy shit. Especially Ukraine. I notice you don't talk about Russia, Ukraine much. Nope. Funny how people are always trying to get me to change the subject. There are countless talking heads out there talking about Russia and Ukraine. What do I need to talk about it for? Not to mention, the only way you get to the bottom of that is by going to Israel. Israel is a huge part of the Russia-Ukraine situation. Clearly, you don't know a lot of shit, so you just say a lot of shit from this point of ignorance. But the only place that Ukraine was begging for help was Israel. And they made it seem like it was strange that Israel didn't help them, even though Israel never helps anybody. But Israel didn't help Ukraine because Russia controls the airspace over Syria. And Israel wanted to continue to bomb Iranian proxies hiding in Syria. And the only way they could do that is by having permission from the Russians to fly in the airspace. And so instead of helping the Ukrainians, who chose to stay, mind you, because for 3 weeks prior to the totally unprovoked, unplanned, unprecedented invasion by Russia, Israel was running 3 of the largest passenger jets, 730, 747s, whatever the fuck they're called. Airbuses, I don't know. But they were running 3 of them nonstop from Kiev to Israel. And anybody that wanted to come to Israel was, you know, it's like you haven't heard of Israel suffering because of the influx of migrants, of foreigners from all over the place, and how are they able to sustain it all? They have no problem. Those people came to mansions. You know, when Israel is putting out statement after statement about how they're building 1,000 more settlements here, 1,000 more, 3,000 more settlements there, blah, 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 blah. Who's that for? Obviously, they were preparing to bring a whole bunch of people in from other places while they were, you know, planning their big thing. But Zelensky is a J. You want to talk about Russia, Ukraine? I mean, talk about how the system, the government constantly reports about what Russia is doing. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Russia is attacking this or Russia is doing that, while Israel does it, and Israel has a right to defend itself. Israel does have the right to defend itself. Israel is the one that's actually the aggressor and doing all of the attacking. All based on fucking false flag bullshit lies. No Israelis were killed on October 7th. No Israelis were taken hostage. But like, this is the kind of shit that, like, this is a big boy conversation, and I just don't think you're capable of having it. You know, you don't know enough about any of this stuff on this kind of level to be able to have this conversation. And the thing is, I didn't want to be you, so I looked into it. Otherwise, I'd be just like you, because, you know, this isn't just everyday random conversation information. You actually have to look into these things. We keep watching for good insults, guy. Truth is, they got nothing. They can't even make good insults. War is war, same subject. No, it's, well, there is no war happening in Palestine. That's not a war by any sense of the means, or the word. Think of the card game war. It's not a war until you lay down the same card. Once you guys have an equal fight, then you're supposed to yell out war and then put one card face down and then another card face up. And if you happen to get the same card again, then you do the same thing again. A war is 2 equal factions fighting each other. Or at least reasonably equal factions. When you have a first world superpower like Israel using F-35 fighter jets to drop illegal white phosphorus and all kinds of other bunker busters and shit on people in tents with fucking rocks and sticks for weapons, this is not a war. The Israel casualty count is next to nothing. And most of it is due to friendly fire. Hannibal directive kind of shit, but accidental friendly fire as well. But literally on October 7th, that's all fake. That's all fake. And none of you can prove it, prove the contrary. You can't prove any of it's real. You know, the only proof that you really have from the IDF is a list of names. And then there's a bunch of goofy staged videos, none of which actually show anything. The only time you actually see something kind of like a little unnerving is the 2 kidnap videos, but those look entirely staged. We're not going to talk about the fact that the one chick is getting put into a brand new blacked out SUV, are we? And then the other one is the people in there's two people. I think there's a dude and a chick, but you can't really see it. It kind of, but apparently they're in the back of a pickup truck riding through a town somewhere. And the people are, yay, and you know, and the hostages are like, ah. It's fucking silly. Called me a white privileged man. He's talking about children getting raped in other countries. That he and I can't do anything out. From one white guy to another, better. Again, this is what, like, you just, you fulfill it. You fulfill the prophecy. When I call you a typical dumb white guy, you're like, yeah, I am. Let me show you how. If you can't change this country, why do we talk about it? Again, the fact that you, for some reason, like this is, how about you answer the question? Why are you here? Why does it bother you so much that I talk about the things I talk about instead of what you want me to talk about? Because again, it's like you want me to talk about other stuff. I want to watch you, but I just want to watch you talk about this stuff instead. What is it that motivates you to be here day after day, hour after hour, month after month, you know, trying to get attention, then getting it and just, you know, repeating yourself and proving the stupidity? What is the motivation for that? It's all ran by higher elites that no, you nor I can change. That's what you're supposed to think. And you're out there to foster that. That's your point. You're here to try to make anybody that might be on the fence, that might be hearing what's being said and being like, you know what? He's right. We should be doing something about this. But he's here to remind you, you know, it's all wrong. We can't do anything about it. Just be grateful for what you have. Again, that biblical bullshit coming back through. You know, don't compare yourself to the chosen people. They're going to have a lot more than you have. Be okay with it. Follow their rules. And when you die, you get to go to heaven. Yay. It's fucking crazy. Like the one from the hospital basement pointing to a calendar, saying to an English-speaking outlet that the calendar had the hostage keeper's name on it and his shifts written in Arabic. I didn't see that one. I think one of the funniest things is Candace Owens talking about Hamas put out a memo before October 7th saying that they were planning on taking 200 hostages. How would they know that that's what they were going to do? How would they know they would have access to that? They would have the ability to do that. I watch you because it can't be healthy talking about the same thing, expecting different results. You know the definition of insanity. If that doesn't sound like Trump, I don't know what does. I watch you because it can't be healthy talking about the same thing, expecting different results. You know the definition of insanity. What? You literally typed that out and then thought this is gonna get him? This is an answer to a question? That doesn't answer the question. You make an accusation. You say, I don't watch you because an accusation. I watch you because, you know, if you let the grass grow in your yard, it gets longer. And then some flowers will grow. What? What does that have to do with why you watch me? Because, you know, if you don't pull the weeds in your sidewalk, then eventually it'll ruin your sidewalk. What? It didn't say that at all. It merely said days of the week, no names. I'm sorry, I'm missing what the point of it is. I would have to see the video. Maybe I can help a fellow man. Satan's chosen are 100% legit. Can't fix stupid. Literally. Like, I mean, seriously. Isn't it embarrassing how easy this is for me? It's not like these guys can do, like, but again, how could you explain it? I mean, you have to at least give him the credit for trying, for hoping that we're just dumb goyim, and that response is going to be, it's going to work. But as always, they underestimate us. What a ridiculous response to the question. Let's see. He didn't finish my other comment saying maybe I can help my fellow American. What the fuck does that have to do with it? Pointing out he's going insane. So you're watching me because I'm going insane and you're trying to help your fellow American by what exactly? Like what? Nobody's avoiding what you're saying. Actually, what you're saying is golden. It's a level of stupid that is rarely seen on here. So, like I say, I appreciate your effort. Honestly, they do all the work for you. But you are like Trump. Again, look at how you respond to things. Do you see the response he said about the medians, word for word? See if I can find that real quick. He just said it. Trump says, "Thank you, wow. I've been up here a lot." Oh, wait, that's not it. Where is it? I'm not trying to read this whole fucking thing. It's a lot of shit. He just talks and talks. Man, is it stupid. Wow, this is really, really long. God damn it. Maybe I can find it some other way. Here, just listen. He says it here. Oh, fuck, it's not going to let me. Damn it. Listen to this fucking idiot.
Action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse.
This is just dumb. My bad. Why is it so hard to find this fucking? This should be. Maybe if I just YouTube it, it'll come up. Seth Meyers did a good job on it, so maybe it'll come up. Trump. Median.
one, get one half off back to school shoes at your local Famous Footwear or famous.com. So, you think you know what pressure is? When 1 millimeter is the difference between life or not life?
Trust me, I hate these fucking guys.
At 500%,
500%. He's so stupid.
Jack of diamonds. As with all things Trump.
and 46% which
Sounds like an auction. Did you already give away Alaska? Of how embarrassing it is, and now Trump is ordering what he's calling those numbers were actually awesome. And somehow when he says it, everyone just vacation, which if I'm understanding him correctly, I should be able to get for a song.
1200%.
Sounds like an auctioneer with.
What is it?
For more on this, it's time for a closer look. Politics voters.
And when we cut them
Map 15. I told you you get 7.
to get them
So
is
couldn't even muster a me about it. He's ordering what he's calling a federal takeover.
in Washington today.
We've
I've been up here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom. And that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful.
That's how you know Trump's bull. Hey, hush up. Is just gonna hold up a chart and say, "Oh, diamonds." See, like it was a distant.
Caravans of mass youth.
They're roving mountains into a more. There's a moment in
What the fuck is
particular
it?
that really underscored to me just how degraded Trump's brain is. I'm gonna play it because I honestly
Oh, yeah.
need help understanding it. If you know what he's trying to say here, please let me know.
You shouldn't have medians falling down into the roadway. Median, you know, the metal things that are always. Somebody had a great lobbyist because I've never seen them look good. I've been looking at those things with a little red. They're always broken, bad.
Seriously.
Hey man, I know prices are down by 1,500%, but I think you need to lay off the.
Drugs.
In fact,
Listen to this.
I'm gonna
He's gonna
read that
he's
quote
gonna read
again
it out.
because I genuinely want to understand what this man is trying to say. Here's what he said word for word. You shouldn't have medians falling down in the roadway. Median, you know, the metal things that are always. Somebody had a great lobbyist because I've never seen them look good. I've been looking at those things with the little right. They're always broken and bad. I will say it's ironic that the only.
I wish I didn't spend so much time looking that up, but it's like it's. That's exactly who this dumbass sounds like to me in his responses. Have to say, even though crime is down, if you've never been to DC, it's very ghetto in a lot of parts. Honestly, may be understandable. Laughing my ass off. It's the same shit. You're, Y-O-U-R, a funny guy. But I have to say, the months watching you and your constant pedos and Jay's convos, I ask as a viewer, what's your goal? It's you spreading this knowledge going to... Is you spreading this knowledge going to save these kids? Hopefully. I mean, at least it's something. At least it's something. And I've absolutely reached and affected numerous people. And I know how this works. I've been doing this for a long time. I know nobody forces anybody to subscribe to this page, but a lot of people seem to. And I know that even if you're here for a minute and you hear what's being said, there's going to be a point later on when you realize what I said was true. And you'll come back. But doing this makes me feel better as a human being. That at the very least, you know, if AI is watching, then they'll see that I was a decent person. I wasn't like these other piece of shit people here who say, well, they don't look like me, so why do I cares about them? They don't believe in the same sky daddy as me. And just point out their flaws. They point out their flaws. I point out that they're pointing it out to us. My grandpa was talking about this morning. He wants to kick out people from DC, including homeless. Yeah. Your grandfather is from the generation prior to. The generation that was told that there's a 1976, the swine flu is here. Everybody run out and get your inoculation. And they just did. They ran out and got mass inoculated with a machine that could transfer enough material from person to person to transmit hepatitis. That's what those jet injectors. Spend an afternoon looking up jet injectors. Look up David Senser, Dr. David Senser. Look up this 1976 swine flu. Look up, I mean, they literally lied. They admittedly lied and claimed that this thing was happening and got 46 million people to take an inoculation that they didn't need and they knew was bad and wasn't technically approved. They presented a formula that did get approved, but then they re-engineered the formula after that. And then they used the jet injector method to mass inoculate 46 million plus Americans. And it's because of this particular thing that we today can't sue the government or the inoculation manufacturers, because so if you pay attention to all of the poke commercials that you see on TV, they always talk about a risk of GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is polio. They've just renamed it. Because if they were saying that every time you got a poke, you ran the risk of getting polio, nobody would take them. They sufficiently scared us from polio. But if they call it Guillain-Barré syndrome, most people can't even fucking say it, let alone ask about it. But because of the 76 inoculation, over 4,000 people sued the government for either death or polio-like symptoms. So much so that the government, you know how like when Stormy Daniels is trying to sue for defamation and it just immediately gets struck down by the court and it goes through the system and gets struck down, whereas anything that works, you know, that she's trying to sue for gets caught up in all the red tape and all that other bullshit. Well, this was one of those things that went right through the government. Right away, they were like, oh yeah, you guys can't sue the government for any sort of injuries from this, nor can you sue the manufacturers. And that was that. That's why today it still exists in that way. It can't enough people rise up. Awareness is step one. That's how revolutions start. Exactly. This is grassroots. This is 2025 grassroots. At least he's doing something about it and is passionate about it. Thank you. I take your while you are very humble. I wouldn't say that. I just hope you care about yourself and your family too. Blah, 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 blah. Look at this weird shit. Like, what kind of weirdo says shit like this? I just hope you're not letting it take away from you and your family and your kids and because what should be happening is my kids should be spending every waking second with me. Not doing their own thing. You know, nothing like that. They should be spending every second with me. You guys, apparently, I'm taking away from our relationship by doing my videos. So from now on, the three of us are going to spend every second together.
You got off that little.
What do you think? You guys down, homies? My homies? My kinfolk? My squad? You guys done? You guys want? No, come on. We're gonna hang out because I'm taking away from our relationship. Yeah. Don't you guys want to just hang out with your dad all day, every single day?
No.
I mean, so I can hit you and stuff and abuse you as I do. What's up, guys?
Me, bro.
No, seriously. Let's. What do you guys want to do?
Nothing. Play video games.
No, let's.
It's not me, bro.
Let's. Shut up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
My kid's so
Yeah.
street. He's so hood.
Buddy. Get it.
You guys are
Let's go.
like wusses. I gotta be honest. If I was you, I'd want to spend every waking second with my dad who's 30 years older than me. What's up, dude? Why are you being so weird about it? Oh, shit.
Because I don't want to get beaten, Dad.
I mean, I don't blame you. I am known to beat you. When was the last time you had a good beating? Yesterday at what time?
Like 5:30?
5:30 in the morning, right? Yeah. Because there was no, that was the first one. 5:30 was the last one yesterday, right? I thought I got you one more time before bed. Oh well.
I'll do better, Dad.
I'll work on it. I'm trying. Little bro. I'm good on that, little bro. My squad is aura farming. Skibbity Rizzler. Some of these people need to read a physics book. If you guys took it as seriously as the Bible, we'd have the smartest community in the world. No, we wouldn't. We'd have a very confused, just as confused community that needs to have just as much faith. When you start talking about physics, it's literally the same thing as religion. You know? You claim to have knowledge of it because you've heard little bits and pieces. If you try to read it yourself, it's confusing as all fucking shit. It's crazy. And you need the interpretation, and then it's supposedly like this infallible thing, when most of physics is just theoretical anyway. But there are, like everything that's supposedly physics, there are contradictions to those rules that exist on our planet. There are places called mystery spots all over the world where physics doesn't work right. It's just it's what it is. So yeah, I don't know. I think if what would be more beneficial is if more people just could be wrong. And when they started to feel like they were wrong, instead of attacking, they just embraced that, like, why do I feel like I'm wrong? Maybe it's because I am, and like they would just look into it more. I think honesty and empathy would go a long way. Because we need to, we need to scrutinize physics just as much as we scrutinize religion. People in funny dress, in faraway places, with access to information and equipment that you personally don't have any access to, are telling you the rules, and you're not allowed to even question them. It's the same thing. Jesus Christ. Well, out of care for others, but you've already proven you don't have empathy. You're right. This guy cares about me so much and my family so much, but not all the children being killed by the Israelis thanks to our tax dollars and our best efforts. Nothing to worry about there. And I'm weird for wanting more family interaction. I'm fucking weird. Yes, you are absolutely weird. Why do I get shut down for what I think is a good take? Because you're wrong. That's what happens. That's how things work. You get shut down because you're wrong. And you get shut down in an intelligent way. It's not like somebody just blocks you. I know, I and the other Matt, other people on here, they break down what you're saying and point out just how stupid you are. You're not big enough to admit it or acknowledge it. Right. Somebody is worried about me, will watch me for hours and hours, but they have their own family. Why don't you apply that same shit? Like, at least I'm doing something. But see, this is all in distraction, right? Because remember, this was his response to why he's here. He still hasn't given a good response as to like what motivates him to be here. His response was because, what I don't even know what he said, but it was stupid. That's true. The religious people can't be saved. I'm just trolling Scorpion. What did he say earlier that was fucking stupid as hell? I'm trying to figure out why you care about other countries so much, or just your personal life. Why would you sacrifice your life to help Palestinians? I think that was the why he's here, but I'm not sure. Simple question, man. Just answer the simple question. Ask Matt. Matt, why are you here? Because I support the elimination of pedophiles, and I don't want I don't support the genocide and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's simple. It's not a hard question to answer. You ask me why I'm doing this. You shouldn't even have to ask me. It should be pretty obvious why I'm doing this. But I have no problem answering it. And yet this person wants to just keep throwing out that shade, keep trying to do everything they can to avoid the reality of what's being said here. Well, if more people furthered their education, it would be fine. My grandparents are religious, but my grandma went to school to be a nurse. She understands how far to take the Bible. I mean, again, it's like this is that part where you're going to get upset with me because she's your grandma. To me, she's some old lady, but she's your grandma, so you're going to be defensive and protective of her. Like, you should be, I guess. If it was actually like an attack on her, then yes, be defensive of it. But the idea of, knowing how far to take the Bible, that literally, that like highlights the selfishness of it. That highlights the ignorance of it. Like, it's not true, but you want it to be true because you want to believe that for some reason all of your relatives are in heaven looking down on you. None of them went to hell. And of course, you're going to go to heaven. There's no way you go to hell because you're better than that. No, I'm saying like the arrogance. You don't want to think of your grandmother as some ignorant, arrogant, regular person like you would somebody on here that you don't know. Your grandmother is special to you. You have all these memories. So you don't want to think your grandmother is just your typical arrogant American bigot, dumb goyim. But the truth is she is. And the reality is, today's generation is so much smarter than our grandparents were. Now, those people might be able to regurgitate shit a lot better than we can. They might be a lot more capable than we are. But as far as having access to information goes, we are exponentially smarter than they are, and than they were at our age. And by the time they're old, they don't have the some of them are still surfing the web and shit, but they grew up in a time where friendships and shit would end because people would get into an argument and neither one would be willing to concede instead of just being able to look it up real quick. We are so much smarter than any other generation that has lived here before us because we have so much more access to information and the ability to scrutinize the information we're given. It's a really unique situation. Nobody in our recorded history, in the history we're given, has had this same thing. Although, once you start looking into it, it's hard to think that they didn't. You know? It's hard to think that they didn't have some sort of World Wide Web back then, because how else could they facilitate all the shit that they tell us happened? Well, it depends on her actions. If she was MAGA and stood on the Bible rather than science, then I'd judge her harshly. It's not about judging harshly. I mean, that's on you. I'm just saying, you know, it's hard to differentiate between the people with the prefixes, mom, grandma, you know, with these labels that we put on them, and the idea that they're just stupid people. They're just stupid people that you happen to be attached to by name or association, whatever. But to think that, you know, that the arrogance comes into play, to where, you know, your grandma will preach the Bible, but then when it comes down to, like, actuality, well, she's not going to put it in God's hands, that's for sure. You know, she knows better than that. But it's, you know, all Christians are arrogant. You have to be arrogant to be a Christian. I can't stress this enough. The foundation of Christianity is arrogance. Believing that the deity that makes the universe work, that for some reason you believe the sun or the earth goes around the sun, even though your Bible says opposite. But the God, the deity that makes that earth go around the sun like it does, and all the other bullshit that you believe happens to be listening to your prayers, that's some arrogant shit. But that's just on the belief side of things, you know. That's not even just the foundation of it. I say this all the time. There's not a single Christian that ever comes on here and says, yeah, you know, I looked into Islam and Scientology and Mormonism and Hinduism, Buddhism, fucking Judaism, you know, all the isms, all the things, and I was able to debunk them. Boom, boom. Well, what about this? And what about that? Boom, boom, boom. Down the line. When it came to Christianity, I just couldn't do anything, man. Everything was just so right on, and I could prove every single thing in that Bible without a I had no choice. Nobody says that. Every single one of you that identifies as a religion, as Christian, as Muslim, as whatever it is, you do because that's what you were programmed to do. You don't do it out of an intelligent or from an intelligent perspective. You do it because of you know, wanting to fit in, not wanting to make mommy and daddy mad, scared of death, you know, not comfortable with the idea that you're gonna die and it's gonna suck, but you know, you're gonna die. You know, all these little selfish things that make you believe that shit. Well, yeah, you're right. It's like if you believe in God, but you never trust him to solve your problems in your life, then that's just you. There's no God if you solve all your own problems. No. There's no God if you just look at it intelligently and honestly. And really, like, there, you know, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like when you understand that you're doing it, God's not doing any of that shit. You want to give your credit to God. Like I say, you'll whenever you bring up the child rape or any of the negativity associated with religion, Christians immediately jump to, no, that's free will. God has nothing to do with it. That is free will. That's free will. That's man's free will. Wah. Yet every time you see an athlete catch a touchdown, and a game-winning touchdown, and you know, oh, God did that, that was God. Or you see somebody that runs faster than the other people that run for a living. And he's like, you know, first of all, foremost, all credit be to God. Nothing, or you know, watch any football game, and the on both sides, the players will get together in the middle of the field, knowing that the cameras are behind them. They'll purposely station themselves in front of the cameras and do their little kneeling prayer. You know, like they have to show God that they're doing it. But they you know, to think that you know, whenever you see people doing that shit, you never see anybody say to them, hey, no, you actually ran faster. God had nothing to do with it. That was your free will. Your free will caught that touchdown along with a little bit of luck. That's why that happened. God had nothing to do with it. You'll never see anybody say that shit to them. Because they're so fragile. Their egos are so fragile. And the only reason it's so fragile is because you know it's fake. If you knew it was real, you would have no problem with somebody calling you out on it. I encourage people to call me out on shit because that's a way for you to get educated. What's your opinion on the Apocrypha Bible books? I don't care. Seriously, it's all the same Catholic bullshit. It's just spread out differently. Apparently, at some point throughout history, somebody was like, I don't like these Catholic rules. I mean, I like 98% of them, but there's a couple that I don't like. So I'm going to start my own thing. Who's with me? And people were like, I'm with you. And then they went off and started this thing that's now hundreds of years old and shit. Like, it's all just fucking stupid. Or, you know, decades old, depending on which thing you're talking about. Scientology being, you know, a great example. Yeah, when someone thanks God and not science or skill, then I'm completely out of the conversation. It's irritating, right? That girl that was here the other day that was saying, you know, her kid had this rare genetic disease and she was on death's door, and she grew up, or she didn't grow up, she had at the time claimed herself to be a Wiccan, a witch. But you know, her daughter was getting worse, so at some point she prayed to God. Like, obviously you're still a Christian if you're praying to God. If you believe in it to pray to it to begin with, then obviously it's affected you. But she prayed to God, and then the next day, according to her, the doctor called with some medicine. They found a new experimental medicine that saved her. And it's just like, okay, so you think God was waiting for you to pray to it, and then once you finally did, it was like, okay, now I'll save your kid. Here's the medicine for the thing that I gave your kid to begin with. Like, I just never understand the Christian point of view. It's so hypocritical. It's so like, it's just stupid. Another video I saw one time was this guy, his daughter had gotten in a car accident. And so he must have been right down the street from the house. So he pulled up, and he's got his camera out, and he's walking, and he's like, you guys, I just wanted to show you how good God is. Look at this. And he shows like his daughter's car had been flipped over, and the guardrail had gone through the passenger side, and he's showing the car, and then he walks up and he shoves the camera in her face, and he's like, look, she's okay. God is great. And she's like so embarrassed. She can't believe he's fucking, you know, highlighting one of her, you know, not best moments, and he's making a video out of it. But he's talking about how great God is because his daughter isn't, you know, has no injuries and shit. And it's like, then why didn't God just fucking stop your insurance from having to go up, Stop your fucking, from having to buy a new car. Stop you from having to pay for whatever damages were done to the highway. Stop your daughter from having the PTSD that she's gonna have from that accident, because that's gonna live with her for the rest of her fucking life. Why didn't God stop any of that shit? And they just, this is where Christians just shut off. Or for some reason they think like the God that loves them wants them to suffer. The All-Father wants you to suffer. Like, the funny thing is if you did it to your own kids, if you were like, no, I'm not gonna feed you until you figure out a way to feed yourself, then I want you to give me credit for you feeding you. Like, that would just be so weird. Nobody would accept that. Nobody would entertain that. People would call the police on that. She been praying to God for years, and one day a doctor saved her daughter's life. Thank God, I guess. Right. And then the arrogance of that, again, to think like on the day that the doctor saved your daughter's life, how many other people's daughters died? How many other daughters did God just let die? Or make die, actually, according to the way that you think of things. Like, the arrogance in all of it is just so tremendous. So there's, remember 15 years ago or whatever, that huge tsunami that hit Japan? And there's like all these videos, just there was so much video coverage of it. It really is shocking. And I've watched a lot of it because it's just, it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so humbling. That is humbling to see what is capable and how powerless we are against the system when it wants, when it wants us to die. But there's all these videos. There are videos of entire houses being taken out to sea. People on top or people inside. You can see them as they're getting taken out, and or as their building is about to crumble. You can see somebody's trying to help them, and then the water just washes them away. There's so many people that died in that situation, and yet I saw this video, 10 years later, or whatever it may be, interviewing a lot of the people who filmed the original shit and who were affected by it. And not one of them was like, yeah, God was God favored me that day and saved my life while those thousands of other people died and everyone lost everything. Nobody says anything like that. They all talk about, I was just really lucky to survive. I was really fortunate to survive. There was no favoritism by the deity because I guess you've tithed more than the rest or some bullshit. Like the arrogance in being a Christian, especially since all of that arrogance literally comes from nowhere. You're super duper arrogant and super sure that you're correct based on literally nothing. Nothing. And yep, I'm the one that needs meds because I don't believe in Sky Daddy. Doesn't that make sense to you guys? I don't believe that there's somebody up above and somebody down. Well, the somebody down below is actually a lot more powerful, seemingly. And the only way I can sort of reconcile what's happening is like God is standing there looking this way, and the devil sneaks up from behind him and starts fucking with shit. And God turns around real quick, and as he does, the devil's fucking with shit behind him. And then this just keeps happening over and over again. I can't understand why all-knowing, all-powerful, all-seeing, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, all these different things that God is supposed to be, how the devil gets away with any of it. I mean, it's just so stupid. Why? And the thing is that the you know, the shit the Christians will say to them when you're like, well, you know, Trump sits there and talks about believing in God all the time. The Israelis believe they're God's chosen people. They're committing genocide. Well, they're gonna pay for it when they die, in the afterlife. You better believe it. Once they go to St. Peter's gates. I mean, it's so childish. It really is weird. And yeah, the devil will be max level in this game, right? And God is like comically powerless. You always have to remember, your God has a closer view than this to the children being raped by clergy consistently. And your God consistently does nothing about it. Your God consistently does nothing as it's watching little kids screaming and crying. Christians, lots of the Palestinians are Christians, screaming and crying, praying, please God, please don't let the bombs hit our house. Please don't let the boom. Right? Like, again, look at the comments. Where are all the Christians here defending their God? I have 11 viewers and 6 likes. Is that how the algorithm works? The algorithm does that? When you have 50% likes, the algorithm doesn't boost you. I'm sure this has been shared at least once. That doesn't, account for anything. Maybe I have to reset. Should I reset? Let's give one more reset a chance and see what happens. Come back if you want to. Pedophiles, you go ahead and you kill yourself. It's not an algorithm, it's you. You popped up in random scrolling shorts. Sure, guy. Sure, and you have to watch it when you do, right? That's so now suddenly it's just rising. As I say it, it starts rising. That makes sense. Nothing good? You look like you're a little warm. Have a great day. I don't want this.
That's all I got for you.
Well, you don't have to. You have to give it to me, right?
You took it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Here, you can have it back.
It's too late.
I know that now. I'm never taking them again. Your algorithm got you here, dog. Exactly. Up and down like a seesaw. I couldn't get back in. I couldn't find it, says Karen. So, do people just pretend like I'm lying? Is that what it is? Like, I really don't understand. And that's my whole point in this, is to understand what's going on. Jessica, get in the house. It's too hot out here. You're going to melt. You're made of sugar, baby. You're so sweet. I can't get out of here. I am out. You go in the house. Everybody wants to hear me. They want you to go in the house is what they keep saying. They keep saying you're popular. Everybody thinks they say, Jessica, go in the house. Everybody says it. Yeah, Matt had that happen too. So again, do you just tell yourself that these are people that are lying for me, or that maybe we got together beforehand and worked out some sort of trick that we were going to do? Like, how does that work for people? Right, it's the content. I'm only talking about the #1 trending thing right now. I had to jump through hoops. Jews, Christians, and Muslims all worship the same gods, and it shows. Yeah, you like that statement. Ooh. But you're right. I mean, again, it's the Abrahamic religions, so of course. It's just funny how Christians don't want to acknowledge it. You say to the Christian, like, you like, why would you believe you're second class in your own shit? I'm not paid to say this. This shit's real. Hey, how you doing? That time goes so quick, man. Yeah, mine are in there right now, playing on their video games, want nothing to do with me.
Yep, I have a 4-year-old. He does the same thing.
There you go. Yeah, I've missed vids I was subbed to. And the thing is, how often does that happen for you? You have to compare it to what you experience elsewhere. And you start combining shit. You start saying, okay, the comment section gets shut off. It's impossible to find at times. The like to view ratio doesn't work out. There's all these weird, pro-pedo people that seem to find this feed. Like, what's going on here? If it isn't interference, what do you call it? You literally just had somebody try to be like, whoa, it's not the algorithm, it's the content, blah, 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 blah. Yet then claiming the algorithm is what brought him here to begin with. And of course, he has to click on it. And then stay and talk shit. There, THERE, watching you, he says. That's not one usually people fuck up. But they do. THERE, watching you. It's like clockwork. YouTube sends a notification an hour late. Right, so what could it be? How do so many people get to the point where they're getting paid from YouTube if YouTube is actively working against people who put in the effort? Grammar Nazi. Yeah, well, when the only thing you present to me is the few words that you say and you're talking shit, when you can't even be bothered to spell words correctly or use the correct words, yeah, you make it easy for me. Obviously, the rest of what you have to say is going to be shit. So let's do a reset one more time. Pedophiles, kill yourself.